Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Star Wars Unlimited. And we've got Galactic Championship news, regional and sector events information, and of course, more Set 4 spoilers coming up. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get into it. This week, all the news out of FFG was around organized play. We got more details around the Galactic Championship, regional and sector events, and the Set 4 spoilers. So what we already knew was the Galactic Championship will take place July 25th through the 27th at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. But what you might not know is tickets went on sale yesterday, so they are on sale now. So make sure to go swoop up your tickets, and I'll put a link to the website down below. And just know that there are 5 types of tickets to choose from. You've got youth tickets for $20 for admission. You have a general admission ticket for $50, a premium weekend ticket for $130, and then the VIP pass for $500 for those that just want to have a very swanky Star Wars Unlimited weekend. I did a video earlier in the week that I'll link down below that goes further into details on what you get with each of these ticket types. So go check that out because I don't really want to repeat that information here. But the other thing that you want to know, or what was shown, was the finally revealed the Luke and Darth Vader showcases, as you can see here on the screen. I'll go back to the Luke. Obviously, you can see the Luke one. Looks great. Both the art on these is amazing. Obviously, that's the duel from Cloud City from Empire Strikes Back, for those that might not know. But just know that these are going to be available on prize walls at the Galactic Championship. So stay tuned for those. I think, again, like I said, those look just amazing. We got more regional and sector qualifier events. This was what basically the main topic of the FFG live stream was this week. So I'll link the full video to that down below. I think that stream was only about 30 minutes or so. But what you need to know that came out is they finally gave the dates, or released the dates, for both of the event types. So for those that might not remember, the sector qualifiers were going to be 4 events. So we've got April 5th through the 6th in Denver, Colorado, April 26th through April 27th in Richmond, Virginia. And for the folks on the other side of the Atlantic, you've got March 29th through the 30th in Milan, Italy, and then April 5th through April 8th in Liverpool in the UK. And the other thing that they did kind of tease out, and I did a video on this a couple weeks ago as well, is kind of showing what the prizes are going to be available at these events. So as you can see here, here's the Kylo Ren game mat that they've kind of teased us out before, but now we've actually seen some of these alt art cards, or that you kind of normally see like in the OP prize packs, because they have like those aspect borders. Those are now going to be on the prize wall, so I'll kind of zoom into those a little bit. So you can see we've got Admiral Akbar, Han Solo, Chewie, Red 3, and Agent Kallus. Not all those cards are probably usually played. Obviously, the Han and the Red 3 are probably the most, let's call them, meta cards that you'll see out of these. But I mean, they're cool looking. The Red 3, I think, looks amazing. I know some folks don't really like the kind of the aspect borders. I kind of dig them. But I wouldn't mind seeing these like in the full hyperfoil, hyperspace kind of treatment, just to see what they would look like. Because again, I think that Red 3, coming out of the trench run or coming out of that attack on the Death Star, that artwork looks pretty amazing. And speaking of the prize walls, this is the cost that FFG have released on their social medias for, at least for the EMEA event. So maybe these might change a little bit for the US, but who knows for sure. But you can see here how many prize wall tickets you're going to need to pick up the alt art cards. They come in around 200. Like I said, they had those game mats. Those come in at 2,000 tickets. One thing that they didn't necessarily cover on the live stream is, obviously we saw the Kylo Ren game mat, but they're also saying there will be a clone Commander Cody mat, and then 2 mats based off Set 4 cards that we have yet to see, which is Scramble Fighters and Close the Shield Gate. And then we've got some soft crates. We got a bunch of different, pins. I'm assuming, just like metal pins. And then we've got some t-shirts, because who doesn't like a good t-shirt, right? So you've got a black with white SWU logo and a gray with black SWU logo t-shirt coming in at 1,400, I guess, tickets, for lack of a better word. Going to the regional qualifiers, these are basically the 2 events. So these are going to be a larger event than obviously the sectors. But those dates are going to be May 24th through the 25th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So right kind of in FFG's backyard for that event. And then you've got May 3rd through the 4th. So may the 4th be with you. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. Is it Lille, France? So if anybody knows if I'm saying that wrong, let me know. But that's kind of a fun weekend to hold a Star Wars Unlimited tournament on the May the 4th. I'm sure that was completely planned. Here's a look at the prizes for that event. We've got the Slave One, I'm sorry, Fett's Fire Spray, excuse me, my age is showing, game mat. We've got some sleeves that you'll see here. So we've got an Ahsoka sleeve, Plo Koon sleeve, as well as an Executioner sleeve, which I'm guessing is going to be based off card art for set 4 that we've yet to see. And of course, they have a different set of alt art cards that we'll show now. So we've got a Dooku, a Fett's Fire Spray, Kit Fisto, an Unnatural Life, and a Mandalorian Armor. Again, some good looking cards. I like the art of the Dooku, but none of these, I don't know. It's none of these are really probably meta cards minus Fett's Fire Spray. Maybe you might see some Kit Fisto. So I just always have a hard time with these OP cards of like, same with the showdowns. And this is a conversation that's always probably worn out, but like who picks these cards and, realize what actually gets played and whatnot. But obviously I think the Fett's Fire Spray will probably be a hot ticket item, as that's one that probably will see the most table play. Of course, we are still in set 4 spoiler season, so we did get new leaders, a new base, as well as units, events, and upgrades this week. So let's quickly dive into those. We've got 2 new leaders this week. We've got the dynamic duo of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Darth Vader comes in, obviously, as a villain command, 6 cost, 5/6 unit if you deploy him as a unit, or he's a 5/5 pilot. Of course, more than likely you're going to want to deploy him as a pilot. His action is if you attacked with a non-token vehicle unit this phase, create a TIE Fighter token. And then when you've deployed him out, he goes, when deployed as an upgrade, again, this is why I said you're going to probably deploy him as a pilot, create 2 TIE Fighter tokens. So basically he's going to be a token generator machine. Luke Skywalker, hero aggression colors. He's a 6 cost, 5/6 unit, or a 4/5 pilot. His action is if you've attacked with a fighter unit this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit. So he's kind of got a ping mechanic there. And then for deployed, he is this upgrade can't be defeated by enemy card abilities. So that's going to be great. So none of these removal cards. I know folks have talked about like, well, if you put these leaders on, these upgrades on some vehicles and somebody just bounces them out. So obviously Luke's going to have some security blanket there. And then it does say if attached to a fighter unit, it gains on attack, you may deal 3 damage to a unit. So notice it just says to a unit. It doesn't specify an arena. So that could be space, it could be ground, giving you some pretty strong flexibility with Luke on where you might deploy him. Obviously, a fighter, I'm assuming is going to be only space units as far as I know, but we'll see how that plays out. Next up, we got another rare base to add to our collection of rare bases they have announced. This one is a command 33-point base called Data Vault, based off of the Vault and Scarif. It's like I said, a 33-point base with the trade-off being your minimum deck size is increased by 10 cards. So obviously, instead of starting with 50 cards, you're going to start with 60 cards to kind of decrease, I guess, your draw rate or your percentages. So that's how you're going to pay for those extra 3 points of damage on your base. For aggro cards, we got 4 cards this week. I think probably one of the better ones is the first one, which is Biggs Darklighter. He's a hero aggression 3 cost 3/4 unit, or he's a 1 cost 2/1 pilot. That says if attached unit is a fighter, gain overwhelm. If attached unit is a transport, gain +1 health. And then if attached to a unit as a speeder, that unit's going to gain grit. So you're going to get a lot of flexibility out of Biggs. Obviously more than likely you want to get him on a fighter, but +1 health to a transport, or getting some grit. Obviously all very, very interesting mechanics there. We'll see how that plays out. Next up, we've got the Trench Run, which is a hero aggression event. It says attack with a fighter unit. For this attack, it gets +4 and gains on attack. Discard 2 cards from the defending player's deck, and then deal unpreventable damage equal to the difference in the discarded cards to the cost to this unit, right? So gonna have to do some math on this one. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Looks like obviously the higher cost attack that your unit you're using to attack, the more damage you're gonna do. So be interested to see how this one plays out. We've got Red 5, hero aggression 3 cost 3/4. Says on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a damaged unit. So again, no specification on arena. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, we've got, and I hope I'm saying this one right, Misasi, I don't know, tactical officer. Hero aggression 1 costs 0/4, but its action is attack with a fighter unit. It gets +2 for this attack. So kind of a little reverse, like I kind of think of the Rebel Dispatcher where he reduce the cost of something. So he does, anyway, this is just another way to buff a unit for attack as opposed to reducing the cost. So that's pretty cool. Let's move to the command cards. And this week, it looks like command is the one that only got 2 cards for this aspect, minus, the leader card of Vader. First one says Wingman Victor 2. It's a villain command, 2 cost. It's a 3/2 unit or a 1 cost 1/1 pilot. And it says when played as an upgrade, create a TIE fighter token. So again, we're going to see more of this token generation with, TIE fighters. And then we've got Victor Leader, which is a villain command, 3 cost, and it's a 2/4 space unit. And this might be a sneakily good card because it's reads each other friendly space unit gets +1/+1. So you're going to give some buffs to the cards on the table. For Vigilance cards, we only got 3 this week. We've got a You're All Clear Kid, which is a Hero Vigilant 2-cost event, and it reads defeat an enemy space unit with 3 or less remaining HP. If you do, and an opponent controls no space units, you may give an experience token to a unit. We've got Iden Versio, a Villain Vigilance 4-cost 4/3 unit, or a 3-cost 3/3 pilot. Either way you deploy her, she's going to come in with a shield. So either she's going to give a shield to herself as the unit or shield on the vehicle you attach her to. And we got some good synergies, though, with the next card, which I believe is pronounced Corvus, which is a Villain Vigilance 5-cost 4/5 space unit with Restore 2. But the key thing is to know is the when played action, and this can tie into a good synergy with Iden Versio, as it says, when played, you may attach a friendly pilot unit or upgrade to this unit. You must defeat all upgrades on that pilot and then remove all damage from it. So I think if you play Iden Versio for the 4 cost, and then, maybe she does some damage or she, they ping off the shield or whatever, then you play this guy and then you move her over to that, you're just going to kind of keep her on the field longer. And then of course, buff up the ship at the same time. So some really good synergies there. This week we've got cunning cards and we're pretty light on those as we only got 3. But the first up is yet another Han Solo unit. He is a Hero Cunning 5-cost 4/5 unit, or he will be a 2-cost 2/3 pilot. Regardless of which way you deploy him, whether it's a unit or on a vehicle, they're going to get ambush. That's his keyword there. Next up, we've got Radiant 7, which is a Cunning 7-cost 5/6 space, but also something to point out is this is one of the legendary cards, which I know folks weren't necessarily impressed with based off its stat line, but it reads each enemy non-leader unit gets -1, -0 for each damage on it. So you're going to get some debuff on their attacks. And then its when played mechanic says deal 5 indirect damage to a player. And then lastly, we've got I Have You Now, the iconic line that Vader, echoes in the trench run when he's targeting Luke. It's a Cunning 1-cost event, and it reads attack with a vehicle unit, prevent all damage that would be dealt to it during this attack. So very similar to Shoot First. It's just going to be basically the space version of that because you're going to be able to attach it to units. So that's a pretty cool card. And I also kind of like the artwork there of the X-Wing being in the target scope. And finally, we only got one single aspect hero or villainy card this week, and it is a hero. It is the Tantive 4. It is a 7-cost 5/7 space unit with Sentinel, and it says when played, create an X-Wing token. As always, I want to thank you all for watching, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all your weekly Star Wars Unlimited news. But until next time, I hope you enjoy your weekend.